What's going on, everybody? It's Nelson here, and this camera gimbal combo is my favorite setup. This is the FUJI XT-4 with the Xeon WEEBILL-S. Fujifilm only recently started allowing their cameras for some type of gimbal integration, and that all started with the FUJI XT-3. And of course, that carried over to the FUJI XT-4. And for Xeon gimbals, that also started with the WEEBILL-S. So today we're gonna be looking at how to set up the XT-4 with the WEEBILL-S. Also, we're going to look at what functions you're now able to control with this, as well as a couple of issues that I found which may or may not be a big deal to you. Before anything else, make sure to have your camera and the gimbal updated to the latest firmware. In this case, I have 1.01 for the camera and 1.96 for the gimbal. Let's get the camera connected to the gimbal using the micro USB to Type-C cable, which came included with the gimbal. The micro USB connects to the gimbal, and USB-C, of course, to the camera. Moving on, we have to make sure that our camera and the gimbal is properly balanced, and that means that the camera should be able to stay at pretty much any position that you put it into. This is to make sure that you avoid unnecessary camera jitters or camera shake. Now, to allow for proper communication between your camera and the gimbal, first go to your camera menu, choose Setup, go to your connection settings, and under connection mode, change that one to USB Auto. Go ahead and turn off your camera, and then go to your gimbal settings. And under camera options, go ahead and choose Fuji. After that, turn on your camera and verify that you have proper connection set up. Now that we have the camera connection properly established, let's go ahead and look at the functions that you're now able to control. Starting in photo mode, if you press the black button halfway, that will allow you to focus, and pressing it all the way, and you will be able to take a photo. Now, if you use this tiny red button, press that one and it will let you lock your focus. Additionally, while in photo mode, you're now able to control your shutter speed, your ISO, as well as your exposure compensation. Unfortunately though, when you switch to video mode, the only thing you're able to do is to focus by pressing the black button halfway, as well as to stop and start recording, which personally, that is all that I actually need. Earlier, I mentioned how this setup is my absolute favorite, and that is really true. However, that's not to say that I don't have any issues or concern about it. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of complaints. The first one is that when you are in photo mode and then switch to video, notice how the screen remains set up for photo. Now, to get around this, you would have to press the live view button twice in a row. And then the screen will finally switch to video. The good thing about doing this is that you keep the ability to be able to change your ISO as well as your shutter speed. The big problem though, you're not able to get the exact 180-degree shutter rule. Say you're shooting at 24, shutter speed 48 is not available, or if you're at 60 frames per second and you want to get 120 shutter speed, that is also not available. And that becomes problematic, of course, if you want to stay within the 180-degree shutter rule. And if you want to use the physical button in the camera to change that, that is also not available, and you cannot use any of that. So how do you get around this? Well, you would have to turn off your camera and then switch to video and then turn it back on. Now, if you use the physical buttons and dials in your camera, you should be able to get the exact shutter speed that you wanted. Now, the problem again though is that if you try to use the wheel dial in your gimbal to change your shutter speed and your ISO, that is no longer available. And instead, what you can do is just focus using the black button, as well as to start and stop recording. Again, for me, this is not a big deal, as I actually prefer to change my camera settings anyway using the camera itself. Well, that is all I have for you guys, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers!